2017 was an NFL QB class that was not highly thought of as a great class, but most acknowledged it had some potential. This was one of the most questionable QB drafts of all time with no surefire prospects in this draft, but now, 5 years later, we have a pretty good understanding of which QBs have lived up to their draft billing and which have not. The Chicago Bears traded up to the second overall pick to select the first quarterback off the board by the name of Mitchell Trubisky. Trubisky had only started 1 year at North Carolina, but had seen a major rise leading up to the draft as evaluators fell in love with his potential upside. And with serious concerns surrounding the other top prospects, the Chicago Bears felt they had made the best move they could by selecting Trubisky. Top NFL analyst Lance Zierlein compared him to Matthew Stafford and labeled him as a high-end quarterback prospect who possesses NFL size, a big arm, and the ability to throw with accuracy from the pocket or on the move. His career has been a roller coaster, to say the least. Coming into his rookie season, the Bears were content to allow Trubisky, who started only 13 games at UNC, to develop behind the scenes for the season, provided things went smoothly for Mike Glennon, who was signed in free agency for 3 years, $45 million. After Glennon threw 5 picks and lost 3 fumbles in his first 4 games, the move was made to put in the young franchise quarterback. In his first 12 starts his rookie year, he went 4-8 with 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. But the biggest takeaway is that he demonstrated potential promise as a QB as his play improved as the season went on. Coming into year 2, the Bears hired Matt Nagy to guide Trubisky to be an elite-level quarterback, and it looked like a great move after the 2018 season as Trubisky had put up 27 total touchdowns, a 95.4 QBR, led the Bears to an NFC North crown, and Trubisky became the first Pro Bowl quarterback since Jim McMahon for the Chicago Bears. Coming into year 3 after a Pro Bowl season, the expectations were sky high for Trubisky. But Trubisky regressed in year 3 as the Bears went 8-8, and Trubisky threw for 17 TDs and 10 interceptions, while the offense ranked near the bottom in every major statistical category on offense. Coming into 2020, patience was running thin for Trubisky, and this was a make-or-break year for him. Unfortunately for Trubisky, things did not get any better as he played 10 games and then got benched for Nick Foles. Bears declined Trubisky's 5th-year option, and he became a free agent selling for a backup role with the Buffalo Bills. And now, in 2022, Trubisky signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, having one more chance to prove he belonged as a starter in the NFL. Unfortunately, he only played 5 games, as later on the Steelers decided to start rookie Kenny Pickett after a bad start for Trubisky with the Steelers. It's safe to say at this point Mitchell Trubisky will be known as one of the most regrettable draft picks in recent memory. With the 10th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs traded up to select quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was seen as a boom-or-bust prospect by most evaluators. Scouts saw his excellent arm strength, big playability, and athletic tools, but were concerned by his reckless play and seriously worried if his backyard style of play could translate to the NFL. In his rookie year, Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith and absorbed a great deal of knowledge from Alex Smith and Super Bowl winning head coach Andy Reid. Coming into year 2, Alex Smith had been shipped out of Kansas City, and this was now Patrick Mahomes' team. Mahomes went on to have the best season ever by a second-year quarterback, throwing 50 touchdowns, winning MVP, and leading the Chiefs to the AFC Championship, eventually losing to Tom Brady's Patriots. Coming into 2020, Mahomes was already looked at arguably the best quarterback in the league and got his first Super Bowl after beating the San Francisco 49ers. In 2021, more of the same for Mahomes as he led the Chiefs back to the Super Bowl and lost again to Tom Brady and the Bucs. Last season, he lost in the AFC Championship to Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Now, in 2022, Mahomes is looked at as not only the best player in the NFL currently, but arguably the best player of all time as the Chiefs sit atop the AFC West and is currently the favorite to win the MVP. With the 12th overall pick, the Houston Texans selected Deshaun Watson out of Clemson. The concerns surrounding Watson were his inaccurate balls thrown and the fact that he ran mostly a college-style offense at Clemson. Like Mahomes, he was seen as a boom-or-bust type of player. Deshaun Watson's rookie year, he started only 6 games but looked like a star in the making, throwing for 19 touchdown passes. Coming into year 2, expectations were sky high for Watson, and it's fair to say he delivered by leading the Texans to an 11-5 record and throwing for 26 touchdowns. 2019 was more of the same for Deshaun Watson as he led the Texans to an AFC divisional round, losing to his fellow draftmate Patrick Mahomes, and at this point, he was known as one of the game's best young quarterbacks. In 2020, the Texans went 4-12 with Watson, but his play was not the reason behind this record as he threw for 33 touchdowns and made his 3rd Pro Bowl in 3 years of starting. Coming into the 2021 NFL season, Deshaun Watson was accused of sexual misconduct allegations and did not play in the 2021 NFL season. The Texans later traded him to the Browns as this team was not ready to win if Watson was healthy anyways. Before the 2022 NFL season, The NFL suspended Deshaun Watson for 11 games, and now in 2022, he is set to start this upcoming weekend against his former team, the Houston Texans. Time will tell if Watson can regain his former mojo and be known as a top QB once again. The Cleveland Browns selected Deshone Kizer at 52nd overall. Kizer, the former QB out of Notre Dame, was seen as a big-bodied, athletic passer, but like Trubisky, lacked experience and showed inconsistent decision-making and accuracy. But there were certain scouts who labeled him as the best QB prospect in this draft. An NFL evaluator, Lance Zierlein, compared him to Steve McNair. Respect the bold take, Zierlein, but it's safe to say Kizer is no McNair. Kizer's NFL career has not gone according to plan, to say the least. He started 15 games for the Browns in 2017, throwing 11 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, while leading Cleveland to land the number 1 pick the following year and selecting Baker Mayfield. Following his rookie year, Kizer was shipped off to the Packers for Demarius Randall to back up Aaron Rodgers. Kizer played in limited action in Green Bay his second year, but did not impress. Shortly before the 2019 season began, Deshone Kizer was cut by the Green Bay Packers. Since, he has been on the Raiders and Titans practice squad, and recently has stated he is pursuing a career in the NFT world. Safe to say he's no Steve McNair. At 87 overall, the New York Giants selected Davis Webb to back up Eli Manning. Webb was looked at as a developmental prospect, with his decision-making and accuracy beyond 10 yards as a big red flag in the NFL. However, one AFC scout stated that he could turn into Nick Foles if given the time to develop. During the 2017 season, Webb never saw any playing time, but drew praise from teammates Landon Collins and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, with Rodgers-Cromartie claiming Webb looked like a young Eli Manning. Unfortunately for Webb, he was cut in September of 2018 by the New York Giants as the front office did not agree with Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie's comp. Webb's NFL career has been pretty forgettable after his Giants stint, as he signed with the Jets practice squad but was later released, then again signed to the Bills squad and recorded his only NFL stats being 2 rushing attempts for -3 yards, later being released by the Bills. Now in 2022, he has been re-signed to the New York Giants, and he is currently the 3rd-string QB, and we are still awaiting for him to attempt his first NFL pass. With the 104th overall pick, the San Francisco 49ers selected C.J. Beathard. Beathard was not a very exciting prospect and received a draft grade of 5.50, meaning a priority undrafted free agent, as he dealt with deep ball accuracy issues, poor pocket awareness, and low quarterback IQ. Coming into his rookie year, he won the backup quarterback job to back up Brian Hoyer. Beathard replaced Hoyer as a starter for San Fran, making his debut against the Redskins and completed 19 out of 36 passes, 245 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Beathard went on to start the next 5 games, going 1-4, and suffered a leg and hip injury against the Seattle Seahawks. A few days later, new acquisition Jimmy Garoppolo was named the starter. This was unfortunately his only chance to prove he could be a starter, but has now solidified himself as a decent backup QB, and in 2021 signed a 2-year deal to be the Jacksonville Jaguars backup quarterback. At 135 overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected Joshua Dobbs out of Tennessee. Dobbs was seen as a below-average quarterback prospect with good size and decent speed, but an arm that was not near NFL ready. Dobbs started his career as a 3rd-string QB for the Steelers behind Big Ben and Landry Jones. Dobbs never started a game for Pittsburgh and looked rough in limited playing time, and in 2019 was traded to the Jaguars for a 5th-round pick. Since then, he has jumped back to Pittsburgh again and has most recently signed a 1-year deal with the Cleveland Browns, but has been released after Deshaun Watson returned from his suspension. With the 101st 76th pick, the Buffalo Bills selected Nathan Peterman. Peterman was actually seen as a steal in the 5th round, as most draft evaluators had him listed as a day 2 pick, and was compared to Derek Carr. His accuracy, composure, and anticipation all stuck out. Peterman performed well in camp to win the backup job his rookie year, and in Week 10 made his debut as the Bills were down 47-3 and went 7 of 10 with a touchdown. Following Week 10, he became the starting QB for the Bills and went on to throw 5 interceptions in the first half. His 5 interceptions tied an NFL record for the most thrown in a player's first start. Following 2017, the Buffalo Bills traded Tyrod Taylor to the Cleveland Browns, which set up Peterman to be the Bills' 2018 opening day starter. Against Baltimore in Week 1 of the 2018 season, he threw for 5 completions out of 18 attempts, 24 yards, and 2 interceptions. After being relieved by Josh Allen, his chances to be a starter in the NFL were done. Since then, he's been on the Raiders and Bears, and coming into the 2022 season, the Chicago Bears released him. Now he is currently a free agent. At pick 215, the Detroit Lions selected Brad Kaaya. Seen as a prospect with experience in a pro-style offense and great mechanics but lacked natural talent and accuracy, Kaaya was waived by Detroit before the start of the 2017 season. Since has jumped around many teams, including the Panthers, a second stint on the Lions, the Colts, and most recently was cut by the Cincinnati Bengals in 2019, having never recorded a stat in the NFL. The last QB to be taken in the 2017 NFL Draft, Mr. Irrelevant, Chad Kelly. A few of NFL Hall of Fame QB Jim Kelly, Chad was a top high school recruit, but his college career did not go as planned and his draft stock suffered from it. He was seen as a kid with character concerns after being kicked out of Clemson for detrimental conduct. Kelly was placed on IR for a wrist surgery his rookie year and appeared in Week 6 of the 2018 season, recording his only stat in the NFL being a QB kneel. Later in 2018, he was released for criminal trespassing. In 2019, he signed with the Colts, quickly being released the following year and is now playing with the Toronto Argonauts in the CFL. The 2017 NFL draft quarterback class is pretty forgettable outside of obviously Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, but it's safe to say Patrick Mahomes is not only the best QB in this class but in the NFL, and the Bears will forever regret drafting Trubisky. Jury is still out on Deshaun Watson, but he can definitely turn his career around after his allegations. Beyond Mahomes and Watson, this draft class is just honestly pretty terrible. But even with Mahomes alone in this class, you have to give credit as this being a decent QB class, headlined by Mahomes and Watson.